Hey everyone, Tech Gamer here. In this video, I'm going to attempt to land a 747 at the South Pole. I have no idea how this is going to go, but let's get it started. Okay everyone, welcome back. So let's go ahead here and disengage the parking brake. Now we are at the Carlos Ibanez del Campo Airport in Punta Arenas, Chile. Hopefully I got that right. We are on the southern tip of the South American continent. So we are ready for takeoff. Now, hopefully this all goes according to plan. My plan is to take off and immediately turn south, fly over the ocean, and then land anywhere I can at the South Pole. Now, I have no idea what the terrain looks like at the South Pole, what the graphics look like, what's there. I've never been there before, so this will be a first time attempt. So we're at 130 knots, 150 knots. We're going to go ahead and pull back on the stick shortly here. And here we go. And, oops, we bounced a little bit there. We're dragging our tail a little bit, but the game doesn't seem to mind that. So we are in the air, and we're going to make a nice, casual right-hand turn over towards the south. And then we'll go ahead and gain some altitude, and then we just have to travel for a long time. So we'll go ahead here and just bear bank to the right still. And leveling out. I'll go ahead and turn just a little bit more to ensure I get lined up with the continent, because I have no idea where I'm going to appear when I get there. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead here and straighten out and keep gaining some altitude. When I get up to about, I don't know, 10,000 feet or so, I'll probably put on the AI autopilot to just fly me for the long haul flight across the ocean here. I went ahead and loaded up the plane with 100% of it max fuel, just because I have no idea how much fuel I'm actually going to burn on this flight, or if I get lost. I don't anticipate using more than like 15%, but you never know. So we're passing 4,000 feet now. I'm just using the trim adjustments to keep us pitched up. And we'll go ahead and climb up some more. Passing 5,500 feet. Airspeed is good. All engines are good. Passing 6,700 feet. 7,000 feet. So to the right of us is the southern tip of South America. I believe those are the Andes Mountains in the distance, and that will actually fly over the southern part of that mountain range on our trip to the South Pole. We'll just level out for a little bit here, pick up some speed. So we're continuing on past 9,000 feet. Past 10,000 feet. I'm going to start to level out soon, and I'll switch on the AI pilot so that I can just enjoy the flight. Because it's basically a straight shot at this point to the South Pole. Let's get a little view here of the plane. It's a beautiful plane. I love 747s. They're so much fun to fly in this game. The controls are so smooth. So we're going to go ahead now and switch on the flight assistant, the AI piloting, and then now I don't have to do anything. So we are leveled out at 13,100 feet, probably a little less. It'll come down a little bit. So the AI pilot will basically do everything. It's basically glorified autopilot for beginners. You just put it on and it'll do everything for you. If you have a flight path set, it will follow it. If you have just nothing set, it will keep you level and just flying on the same course that you're on until you turn it off. So, but for us, we're just going to leave this on. This flight to the South Pole is going to take about 2 hours. So I'm not going to go ahead and film that whole thing just so that you guys don't go crazy watching 2 hours of ocean. But I'll leave it on for a little bit here while we follow along the coast of South America here and pass over the mountain range. So everybody may wonder why you see my Xbox on in the background, but you don't actually see it on the TV. So I have my Xbox Series X looped through my personal computer, and inside of my computer I have a Elgato 4K video capture card. That is how I make these videos. So I am basically playing Flight Simulator on my computer monitors at my computer desk. And I can also play it on my TV in the background. So I have a separate video if you're interested on how I actually did that setup. It's pretty neat to watch, and it's something pretty cool to do. It does consume a lot of disk space, though, so you need to make sure that you have considerable amount of storage available to accommodate these videos. What I do is I pretty much record everything I play, and then I'll just go and delete what I don't need, because it just wastes space. So we are continuing south here, and we're going to go ahead and pass over the mountain ranges very shortly. The AI pilot is a very nice thing in this game. If you're a beginner and really don't know how to fly a plane, how to navigate waypoints, follow different paths, the AI is for you, and it will definitely help you out with those things. So it's something to look into and try if you're interested in it. For me, I'm an expert pilot, or so I say. So I'm just going to basically not even plot a path. I'm just going to go south because I know that the South Pole is directly south of my current location. I don't care where I end up there. I just want to get there. So I'm going to just keep the speed at the recommended cruising speed for a Boeing 747 at this altitude and just let it go. I fully anticipate that it will take about 2 hours to get there. So I'll pause the video and then bring it back so that everybody can see it as we get closer. So where am I going to land at the South Pole? Because there really are no runways. There might be one runway because there is an airport at the South Pole, which is used for people who are down there doing experiments and stuff like that, but we're not going to look for anything like that. I'm just going to go ahead and, when I get there, find a clear spot to see if I can land in it. I went ahead and looked at some maps before I played here, and I found that once you get a little bit past the coast, there seems to be some clearing in the mountains in the area that I expect to land at. It looks pretty clear and flat. So once I get past that little mountain rangey area part around the coastline, I think I should be pretty good to land. Now, I have all this game set on realistic. So aircraft stresses, landing gear failures, crash landings, all that can occur. So I have no idea what's going to happen when I try and touch down on the South Pole. We'll see what happens when I get there. This might be a long 2.5 hour flight for me for nothing. But we'll find out. one of the things I love about Flight Simulator is the different unique challenges that are in this game. Just, you can play this game for hours and hours and hours and just never complete all of it. The original Flight Simulator X, I think I played that game 4,000 or 5,000 hours. I'd have to go log into my Steam account and see, because I think I have it through Steam, and I'm sure it's at least 4,000 or 5,000 hours. I used to love that game. It was so much fun. And then I stopped playing it for a number of years until this game came out, and I'm back in it again. So we're starting to get closer to the mountain range here. Once we clear this mountain range, there'll be nothing ahead of us but ocean. So we'll continue on our present path. Everything looks good with the engines. They're operating where I expect them to be. Fuel's only down 1%. So I probably didn't need to load the plane with 100% fuel, but that's okay. I mean, whatever, why not? In case I end up deciding when I get all the way there I feel like flying all the way back, I'll make sure I have plenty of fuel to go ahead and do so. You'll see when I get closer to Antarctica or the South Pole, I will start using the maps that are included in the game. They help me get a bearing on my position a little bit. So we'll use those pretty extensively as we get closer, but there's nothing really to see on them right now other than the area that we already know. So the VFR maps are very helpful for when you need to help kind of pinpoint your location. They use GPS, and you can turn on isometric view, which shows you where, like basically where land masses are, where mountains, lakes, like valleys and stuff. So that's a nice little thing if you're flying in like a bush plane, for example, or a water plane, something, or a plane that you can land on a mountain. You want to be able to have all that information at hand. So that's a pretty nice addition to this game to have. I want to start downloading the different map additions to the game that you can buy. You can buy different cities, airports, additional planes. I want to start looking into that stuff. It looks pretty cool stuff they've got available, especially some of the airports and things like that I need to check out. Very expensive, though. Your racks up quick for a game that you already spent $100 on, then they want more money from you, but such is life when it comes to everything these days. Everything is all pay for it up front, pay more later. It's never just one full thing when it comes to games like this. But I understand where it's coming from, because you've got creators and developers who are working hard to create content that people will enjoy for games like this, and Microsoft is not gonna give them anything that much for it. So anything I can do to help support developers and the struggling artist, so to speak, I like to do, because I know how it is. I absolutely love the graphical detail in this game. They did an amazing job rendering it. I noticed that Microsoft partnered with a couple different companies, and I'm sure those companies do the brunt of the renderings and stuff like that. And they did a really impressive job. Everywhere you go, the detail is exquisite, with the exception of Washington, D.C., but I fixed that with that World Pack stuff. That was, I had no idea that even existed, and I thought it was funny that I have to go and download a world map update patches periodically that can't just be applied automatically when the game starts and it checks for updates. But okay, so I see some little pointy thing over on the left there. I don't even know what that is. I'm assuming it's a mountain. I've noticed with this game there definitely is some noticeable lag still, even though the Xbox Series X is so powerful. There are times when you switch views and you're like pulling away from something, or the game tends to lag and even stutter a little, which is surprising. But I'm assuming they'll work all that stuff out as they release patches and optimize the game for the consoles. So once we pass over this mountain range here, we will be on our way across the ocean to the South Pole. So as I said, I anticipate this flight across the ocean will take at least 2 to 2.5 hours. So I'm literally just going to let the game run and monitor it on my screen and let the autopilot fly the entire flight until we get closer to Antarctica, which then I will just assume manual control and enjoy the fruits of my labor, hopefully. You notice when you look at the ground, you can see that sometimes the graphics are kind of rendering as we fly by them in certain spots. I've just been watching. As you can see, like the mountain range above the right wing keeps changing. And there it is, too. I think that's because there's just such detail in this game. And the draw distance is obviously set is obviously all the way out. So there's just a whole lot going on. I mean, the graphics are so detailed. If you look closely at the 4 engines, you can see the heat coming out of the back of them. That's how detailed they made everything in this game, which is really cool. They definitely put a lot of effort into this. So my altitude looks good. I think I'll just hang at about 13,000 feet or so. For the majority of the flight across the ocean there, we'll just hang at the same altitude. I don't see a reason to change it. Speed is good. Not too stressful, strenuous. I don't have to come down that far once we reach the South Pole. I thought about setting the weather for like a thunderstorm or something like that, but I decided against it because I'm going to have enough trouble navigating an unfamiliar terrain when I get there to begin with, more or less needing rain or snow happening. Okay, so we are coming to the end of the South American continent, and nothing up ahead of us but ocean. So we have about a 2 to 2.5 hour straight shot flight across the ocean to reach the South Pole. I'm going to go ahead and basically fast forward time for you guys, and I will bring the video back when we get closer to the South Pole, because unless anybody wants to sit around and watch 2.5 hours of blue ocean, that may not be all that exciting for everyone. Okay, so we'll be back shortly with our attempted landing at the South Pole. Okay, so 2.5 hours later, we are now approaching the South Pole. If I go ahead here and spin the camera around, we can see the South Pole directly ahead of us. Now, as I predicted it would look like, there's a lot of rocky, uneven terrain, so that is not going to make for a good landing site. I'm going to have to go ahead and figure that out here where I'm going to touch down, but we'll just do some visual observations. And we'll go ahead and check our VFR map as well to see what the area surrounding us looks like. So let's go ahead and check that out now. As you can see, we're coming across a massive amount of land, so that is good. And I can see it's all going to be rocky for a little bit here. So let's go ahead and turn the VFR map off, and we'll just do some more flying. So I still have the controls on the AI pilot, flight assistant in this game. Wow, that's a lot of rocky terrain here. We're definitely going to have to fly over all of this and do some visual spotting to see where we could land. So in my 2.5 hours, I burned 12% of my fuel, and I'm now down to about 8,000 feet. The 2.5 hour flight was very uneventful. There was no ATC traffic. There was literally nothing but blue ocean for 2.5 hours. So we're going to go ahead soon and start to lower our altitude. And to do that, we'll throttle down the engines, maybe put some flaps down so we can come down relatively slow so we don't overstress the aircraft. I would hate to break up at this late in this game. Let's go ahead and just change some angles here. Go ahead and check out our map again. And we'll go ahead and put it on isoline map at some point here to see what's going on. So there you can see various mountains, valleys, and stuff like that. So we know that this landing area is not going to be good for us. We need to find somewhere else. Let's go ahead and get out of this view. Shift back. Hopefully up ahead past that larger set of mountains, the terrain is a little more even. Because right around us here, there's a whole lot of nothing. So we're just going to go ahead here and keep on going. I'm certain we'll find somewhere to land. Just going to take a little bit of visual spotting to find somewhere. There's that little patch to the right there, but that's not going to help. I'm thinking we're going to go ahead and turn off the AI mode at this point. So AI piloting is now off, and I am back in control of the aircraft. Going to make a nice gentle turn. Okay, so we're continuing our search here for a suitable landing site. Up ahead actually looks clear past that mountain range up there, but we'll see. And get some altitude here to see if I can get a little better visual of the area around us. Over to the left looks pretty good, and over to the right looks pretty good too. I think we're going to try over to the there's actually more mountains appearing that way. Alright, I'm just going to continue this way for now. Continuing our little climb in altitude here. Looking for the perfect landing site. they've actually did a pretty good job of rendering the South Pole. I figured it would just be big empty spots of, just like nothing. But the ground detail is actually pretty good. You can see snow and trees. So we're passing 11,500 feet. Looking around here still. 12,000 feet. I don't want to get too much higher because I got to come down from all of that. Oh, another big mountain just appeared. Great. But it looks like past there, everything's clear. Or it just hasn't shown up yet. Let's go ahead and ramp up the speed a little more. Like 75%. Yeah, 50 is actually alright. Just kind of feathering everything as I go here. Let's go ahead and check the VFR map and put on the isoline map again to see what our area looks like. Past those mountain ranges actually looks pretty good. I think we're going to be okay to try and land up there. So we're still continuing our climb. We're going to make a little left-hand banking turn here. Looking around again. Yeah. Our best shot, I'm thinking, is ahead of us. You can see what I was saying there with the rendering. The mountains disappear and then reappear periodically. I'm sure they'll fix that in future releases and patch updates for this game. At some point here I'm going to have to start to slow down. I can't land at 300 miles per hour, kilometers an hour. We're almost at 14,000 feet. I'm definitely thinking up ahead is going to be the way to go. It looks nice and level. And I think it's going to make the perfect landing spot. We're going to need a considerable stopping distance, of course. Get my controller in position here so I can feather the camera angles. I would love to be able to fly down here one of the little propeller planes that have the skis on it to land, but the flight would take, I don't even know, 4, 5, 6 hours, maybe even 7 or 8 hours, probably at max airspeed for that kind of plane, just to get here. Yeah, that definitely looks like some nice flat terrain up ahead there. So I'm thinking that's going to be our landing site. Right over there is looking pretty good. Yep, I'm liking that spot a lot. Get a nice little view here, around the world view. There's the sun. Yeah, I'm definitely liking that spot there over to the right. So we're going to go ahead and start our bank and make our approach here, and we'll see how this goes. Continuing to make a nice gentle right-hand turn. Yeah, that area looks really good. There's some patches of rough spots there, but Those might just be shadows, too. So we're going to go ahead and start to bring her down. And we'll throttle all the way down. Okay, let's see how this goes. Gonna put the flaps down to help slow our forward airspeed. We'll probably do some like bunny hops here to kill some altitude and stop some of our forward speed because we are going way too fast. The landing gear would basically be ripped off if I put them down at this speed. We're basically a giant glider at this point. I'm going to go ahead and turn here. I got to get away from that rough patch up ahead of us. That won't work for our landing site. And we're going to go ahead. This looks perfect. I'm pretty sure up ahead of us that's just shadows on the snow there. Go ahead and just keep doing what we're doing here. Just doing a little like bunny hop to help kill some of that forward momentum that we've got going. And get our speed down. There's a nice little cockpit view here for you. And we're passing 6,000 feet. I'm going to level off a bit here to try and kill some of our forward speed. And do a couple little maneuvers with the rudder here to help kill some of that speed. That's a good way to kill speed too, is to turn your back rudder and do like those little like S things. That drops a lot of speed. I went down from like 260 down to 215 really fast. So passing 5,000 feet. Go ahead and put the gear down. Go ahead and lower the camera here a little bit. Oops, wrong way. All of our gear is down and locked in place. Just going to switch back. Okay. Here we go. 3,700 feet. The ground below us looks pretty good. Everything looks flat. Flaps are full. Passing 3,000 feet. I think we can do this. Go ahead and bank to the right a little bit here to kill some more of that forward speed if I can. Which it didn't do anything, but that's okay. Bring the nose down a little bit more. Passing 1,000 feet now. I've got my speed brakes ready. My landing gear brakes ready. Passing 600 feet. I'm going to pull up a little bit here to see if I can kill some more speed. And our speed is slowing down. Passing 300 feet. Passing 100 feet right about now. We're at below 200. 60 feet. I think we're going to do this. And we are down. Got the brakes on. We're slowing down nicely here. Go ahead and change the camera angle. We have officially landed a 747 on the South Pole. I am very surprised. I did not actually think this was going to happen. And that is really cool. Well, I would like to thank everyone for taking the time to watch this video. Please click that like button and subscribe to the channel. And I will have new and exciting stuff coming soon. There's a beautiful shot of the sun from our landing spot. on the South Pole. Thank you so much, everyone. See you all soon.